Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Let me move this. I hate when the chat bar. Do you guys see the chat bar? I'm just wondering. Or is it only on my screen? Nicole, you don't see it?
No.
Okay. Okay, let me. All right.
All right, welcome. My name is Nicole Dobransky. I'm one of the leaders on our team, and we're super excited that you're here. I know some of you are brand new, and some will be listening to the recording who are brand new, and some have been here a while, but I hope that this is essentially the basics to starting your business. And can you go to the next slide, Kelly? The most important thing I want you guys to just remember is that this is a business, and you've never done this before. Oh, you missed the first one.
Here.
So don't think that you're going to be an expert. And I was just listening to that book, Girl, Stop Apologizing, on audio. And it was just such a great reminder going into this call, because she said that exact thing. Like as adults, as humans, and the older we get, we base our future goals off of things that have happened in the past. And most of us have never joined a business like this before. Most of us have never worked for ourselves. Most of us have never put ourselves out there on social media. And so your brain is going to keep telling you, this is scary, like you've never done this before, and it's going to want to tell you that you're going to fail. But I really want you to remember that you can do this, and that you will learn as you go, and you will get better. The key is to not give up before you get there, because just like you when you were a kid and you were learning to walk, like you fell many, many times. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say that this is the easiest business in the world. It takes bravery, but if you truly believe in what our programs are and that you want to help other people with their health and fitness, it is so worth it. And it can potentially create a life of financial freedom, or it can create an extra stream of income that can just solve so many problems, and so many, like it has for me in my life. I've been able to leave my full-time job, and I'm able to do this while home with my 3 children. And it's just such an incredible opportunity. But it's not going to be easy at first. It's going to seem like a lot. And our goal for this presentation and for this our Help One training is to make it as simple as possible, but just know that there is a lot of information. It's just like starting any other job. And you guys just have to take it day by day, and be in touch with your personally sponsored coach in these early days as much as you want, because that's what we're here for. And we want to help you be successful. We want to help you get your first win, which is to help one person. So going back to these on the screen, you'll see that we want you to focus on you first. So this is especially important if you are brand new to Beachbody, which some coaches come in brand new to Beachbody, and some coaches come in who already have done several programs or one program. So either way, one of our vital behaviors, there's 4 of them, as a Beachbody coach, is to focus on yourself. Our business is all surrounded on you being a product of the product. So just make sure that you're doing a program that you've had before pictures. And if you don't, do them right now after this call. Take some pictures and just focus on your own journey. Focus on your health and your fitness, because I find that I'm the most successful in my business when I'm focusing on me, myself, and through a journey, fitness journey. Like I said, you're going to want to start sloppy and fail forward. No one's going to be perfect. Like I have been doing this 3.5 years. Kelly's been doing this 4.5 years. We are getting better, but we're still not perfect. So don't compare yourself to us, and don't you compare yourself to also a brand new coach who maybe you're in a group chat with, or you see on our team page. Everyone comes into network marketing with their own background, their own strengths, their own network. It's a network, so some people might have faster success than you. Some people might have slower success than you. But after coaching many, many people through this business, to me, it is not about how fast you start. It is not how great you are in the beginning or how perfect your photos are in the beginning. What I see as the most important trait is people who keep going, who keep learning, and they don't just do the same thing over and over again and expecting new results. They adjust as they go, and they ask for feedback. So I don't expect any of you guys to be perfect. I just expect you to keep going and keep trying. And there's going to be hard days, but you don't give up. And that's one of the important things. Like I mentioned, I was listening to Rachel Hollis's book, but personal development in general. I'm not going to throw that on you right now because you have a lot to learn, but it's just something that you'll want to consider down the line for just to be keeping your mind in the positive and listening to audiobooks or podcasts or reading books, just to get your mindset right, because this is a big deal. You're a CEO of your own business, and that means that you have to be in charge of your success. You don't have a boss telling you what to do. And even me as your coach, or Kelly as your coach, or whoever is your coach, we're not going to be telling you every single day what to do. So you have to think for yourself and think, what do I need to do? When is my next challenge group? What should I be doing now? And if you don't know, ask, because we don't expect you to know all of that either. At the same time, you want to be resourceful. So even though I do want you to ask us as many questions as you want, we have a team Google Drive that you'll see on our team page. It's like on the announcements, you'll see the drive there, and it has so many resources. There's even a folder that says start here. And you can also just Google a lot of things, go on YouTube. Our Beachbody FAQ has information, especially with like those little details, like how to set up direct deposit or how to do like just general, those kind of questions. And then most importantly, have fun, because this is a really fun business and our team is really fun and we know how to have a good time. And I think that the most important thing is to keep the excitement and the positivity. And that's one of the things that really attracted me to our team and to our business, is that our team is just really positive. And I've never been in such a like supportive, uplifting group of people in my life. I've been in corporate jobs where everyone complains and talks about how, no one's getting promoted, or this person got promoted and I didn't get promoted. And the cool thing about our business is everyone works for themselves, everyone supports each other, and everyone can get promoted together, and we can all celebrate each other. So I hope that you'll really dive into our community and just get to know as many people as you can virtually and through any live events that might happen too. So your first goal is simply to help one person. So we just want you to start with that first win and just help one person. So ideally that's going to be helping them with the full package, which is the Beachbody On Demand, All Access, and Shakeology Challenge Pack. I actually started offering recently, it's called the 21-Day Fix Beachbody On Demand and Shakeology Challenge Pack, because it concludes the containers. They changed the challenge packs now, so the basic one doesn't include containers anymore. And if most of you guys have gone through a program, you know that those containers are in every nutrition plan, so you want to set people up with that. You're definitely going to come into contact with people who are wanting to just start with Beachbody On Demand, especially if you offer that and the bigger package. They're going to default to the cheaper thing, right? But I really encourage you to start by offering people the full package. Don't mention that they can get it on their own, because that is not in their best interest. Their best interest is to get the full package, experience everything about our programs, the nutrition, the Shakeology, and then they can decide whether or not they want to continue with Shakeology or anything else. But it's so much more expensive for them to order it down the line that it doesn't make sense. So just make sure that you're offering that from the very beginning. And just remember, think about what it took for you to get started. And everyone's different. I have people who will message me and sign up in a day. I have other people will take them a year to join me. They will reach out to me and then it'll still take them a year. I'll have people who I invite 5 times and then they finally say yes. You don't know what's going to trigger someone to finally make that decision. You don't know where people are in their lives when you invite them. So just remember that when you're going out there and you're spreading this, and if you love it so much and you're like, I don't know why anyone wouldn't do it. Some people just aren't in the right place at that very moment, but that does not mean that they're not going to come around. And the worst thing you can do is be putting yourself out there over and over again and then stop before that person, they're just about to say yes, because they are just about to say yes. So challenge groups, I think this is across the board depending on who your coach is, but you don't need to worry about running your own coach or your own groups or hosting them until you're ready to go off on your own. You'll be able to either just add people to your personally sponsored coaches group, or you can team up with or you can actually take some of the posts. Like I usually have my newer coaches do a few of the posts it just really kind of depends on, I'll check in individually with that person and see what they want, but you don't have to be running your own groups at first unless you want to. Of course, you're more than welcome to. But we also have challenge group guides, and I don't think everyone, maybe you've caught on if you've been in a group long enough that sometimes we repeat the same content and whatnot, but the app is really easy to use. And we have these guides, they're in the Google Drive that basically have suggested posts that you can do for your morning post, and you just schedule them in the app and set it. I set mine to go for 2 a.m. Pacific so I can get the East Coast people. And I just pre-schedule them, and I try to make them, like, if we have something in the guide, I do try to make it sound like, or I make it in my own words, in the sense that, like, if someone uses verbiage that you wouldn't use, you want to change it to make it sound like you, right? But you can use their concept. So it's not like you have to reinvent the wheel. It's very simple. And your job is just basically to show up in the challenge group as the best challenger so that your people that you've added see you showing up and they're inspired and motivated by you. And remember to consider every challenger on your team or in your group as a potential coach. So you're going to want those people to have the best experience ever so that they also want to join and be a coach and change other people's lives just like you do.
Okay, I believe this is mine. So social media, as you guys know, yes, it's a very social media type business. And before I go into more of that, I want to make sure that you guys are reaching out to your warm market, because this is something that I feel like I didn't do necessarily in the beginning because I was like kind of scared and nervous to put myself out there. So I wish that I had reached out to my closest friends and my family right away and let them know about what I'm doing. And maybe you guys have already done that. And maybe some of your friends and close family members didn't join you and they said, oh, great, happy for you. But I'm not interested. I want to let you know that's completely normal. For some reason, people get skeptical of just MLMs. They think it's like some scheme that you're doing, where that's in my mind when I got those objections, whether it was from friends or strangers or family members. I was like, you know what? But I'm going to continue to prove them wrong. I'm going to continue to show up on social media and I'm going to share my journey, whether or not they want to watch me or not. So you might start feeling like, okay, I've already shared my transformation. Okay, I've already talked about this. Now what do I talk about? But you guys, you have to stay consistent and you have to just put your blinders on, because we all had our doubts and insecurities when we started. Like, is what I'm doing working? Are my posts good enough? And if you do feel that way and you feel like you're at a standstill with stuff, that's when you need to just reach out to your PS coach and say, hey, I just want some feedback. Can you look over my newsfeed? Can you look over my posts? Because we want to see you succeed. We want to see you keep going and improving. And so, we do have a great social media training that Nicole and I probably did 6 months ago. It's very, very relevant and it's on our team page. I highly recommend going and listening to that at some point if you haven't. But don't worry. I know you're not used to posting. None of us were. I was that person that would post maybe once a week or maybe less, just like the highlight reel, right? Like, oh, we're on a family vacation. Oh, look, my child's starting to walk or crawl. And so when I started Beachbody, it was kind of this like new world to me of like how I had to show up every single day. And I always say, you know what? I love how it's changed these days, because you don't have to be on social media all day long to be successful. You have to have quality posts. So, our team, we're more about making sure that you do 3 to 4 main feed posts a week. And make sure that you're also sharing in your stories daily. And maybe you're like, well, I work full time, or I don't want to be on the phone all the time with my kids. Like, you guys, I definitely am not. And sometimes what I'll do is I will take some videos and then I will upload them on my time when it's convenient. So you want people to kind of get an insight to who you are. So, make it messy in the behind the scenes in your stories. It doesn't need to be cropped. It doesn't need to be filtered. People need to see you so they can start relating to you. So for example, we want you to focus on your niche. And so you're going to hear us talk about your niche a lot. So what that means is that you want to talk to your people. If you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. So, and when I first started, I was like, oh, well, I need to relate to like my friends that maybe are just graduating college. And then I also need to relate to my friends that have like multiple kids. And then I'm thinking of my husband's friends. Are they going to approve of this post? And so I had to get that out of my mind and write it down. So I wrote down boy mom, right? So I was a college athlete. I played soccer in college. I was in corporate sales, and then I transitioned to work from home about a year ago. I'm a mom of three boys. I'm a runner, so I incorporate running a lot with my fitness routine, my home workouts. I'm a dog mom. My hobbies, obviously you heard me say I love running. I'm a deal shopper. I love fashion. I play soccer every week. We love to travel as a family. I love to travel. I love coffee, wine, and pizza. So you're going to see those in my stories. You're going to see that on my newsfeed. So if you go to my Instagram, it's actually easier to look when you go to someone's Instagram to get a feel for who they are. And that's what you're going to see. So keep it simple, you guys. I recommend, or we recommend, not to do a bunch of collages on a photo, unless, like, for example, you're doing a before and after. Make sure your before is the first photo, your after or your current progress photo is the next photo. And but otherwise, if you write on your photos, if you're doing a mix of collages, it just looks busy. You want to keep it clean and neat. And remember this, because this was something hard for me. You are the main subject. So yes, maybe you have kids, maybe, like you have pets and you feel uncomfortable sharing you because you're not used to doing that. Well, guess what? You have to start sharing yourself, because you are your brand, not your family, not your kids, not your dog. That's going to be part of who you are. So that's going to be in your posts and on your newsfeed. Absolutely. But you have to get comfortable of taking photos of yourself and looking at the camera, smiling, making so people can feel like they have a connection with you. You want to let people into your world, and your personality. So I always think, am I adding value? Who is the old me, right? Before Beachbody, or when I first started, and what was I struggling with? And then who's the new me? Who am I right now? And I always do that. So I've been coaching for 4.5 years. You guys, last night I did a post on my transformation. I am always like, you're going to see yourself doing a lot of the same things, but you can always spice it up with new photos and new spin on it. And then again, this is really big, is curiosity marketing. So you are not selling Beachbody. I know, right? Sounds like, yeah, you are. No, you are selling your lifestyle. So if I was always slapping up a photo of, Beachbody stuff or Shakeology, people are going to roll their eyes and they might click unfollow, because people never want to feel like they're being sold to in that way. But if you're sharing genuinely what it's done for you and how you're happier, you're more energetic, you're getting this done, and you're a busy mom or woman, guess what? People are going to say, I'm inspired by you and I want to do whatever you're doing. I need that in your life, in my life, because you're making it look so simple. So make your list. Before you think you don't have anyone to invite, you actually do. So like I said in the beginning, I didn't go after my warm market. Yes, of course, my warm market was watching me. It took me time to grow on Instagram. It took me time to build, more friends on Facebook by doing free groups and friend requesting different people that I knew we had a lot of commonalities and mutual friends. But right now, you guys, your goal is to write down a list of 20 people. You really should be doing a list of 100, but that can feel overwhelming. So take it in clumps, write down 20. What I recommend doing is thinking of, go on your friends list and start with A's and then go to B's. And you're not going to want to invite everyone if you haven't had any conversation with them. So I am not that person that's going to reach out to every single person I know and do the copy and paste. Hey girl, how's it going? I'm just wondering, I would love for you to try blah, blah, blah. It's been so great for me. I get those. And I don't know about you guys, but I roll my eyes and I'm just like, one, did you even check out my profile? I know you haven't even liked any of my photos. If you had gotten to know me or just commented on one photo, I may had interacted with you, but now I'm like, you don't even know me. You're just trying to sell me something. So think of your family, your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors. Think of the moms at school that, you're going to be talking to and interacting with often. Whoever comes to your mind, we want you to write that down. So that's your homework. If you can, send that list, like just write it down, take a picture of it, send it to your coach and let them know, hey, this is what I'm working on. Because I'm telling you, you guys, as soon as you start doing that, you'll actually get on a roll and you'll want to continue to invite and start forming, meaning start that connection and interaction with people. So how to invite, I know I kind of was already going over this a little bit, but you have to be genuine and share from the heart. Um, I think that that's what our team has really focused on, is not being salesy, not feeling icky. If you feel like it's icky, then you need to evaluate why. How would you like to be approached? What kind of post did you want to see that got you to take action and reach out to the coach that you enrolled with? Maybe it was the community, maybe it was their transformation, whatever it was, think about that. And I always say, I want to talk to the old Kellys out there, or the current Kellys that are just slammed busy with 3 kids. And I don't have time to get to a gym or fitness classes. I just don't. So I also don't have time to make a healthy breakfast every day. So I am always incorporating how quick and easy Shakeology is, how much I love these programs and I never get bored. So always think of, we always say, write down the 5 things that you have loved so far about Beachbody, because it might be different what it is for me than it is for you. And honestly, write down what these programs have done for you. Maybe you're like, well, I'm still on my journey, I'm not at my goal weight. Well, that doesn't matter. I'm sure that there are benefits that you've experienced already just on your short journey. And then how has your life changed? I want you guys to think physically, obviously, but also emotionally. The happiness that you felt, maybe you have more energy throughout the day, the community that you're in, consistency in showing up in your workouts. Maybe you wouldn't be showing up every day if you weren't in these accountability groups, or maybe if you weren't even a coach, you wouldn't feel the pressure, or not necessarily the pressure. I think it's a good pressure of feeling like, okay, well, I got to prove to everyone that I'm doing it. So I got to show up. I got to get results. Has it helped you have better habits? So this is just an example. I wanted to put it out there. We all have a different way of talking to people. And I always say, if you talk into your phone and write a note, right? Like, so if you are acting like you're talking to someone in person, this is how I come across. Nicole might be very different. You might be very different. I usually add an emoji. I do a lot of exclamation marks. I try to feel very inviting, but that's how I am in person. So, for me, this is something I would say, hey, Sarah, hope you're doing well. I was thinking of you, wanted to see if you'd be interested in what I've been doing lately. I started doing home workouts and I've loved it. And then I would explain why. I love it because I can get it done within 30 minutes when my kids are sleeping or napping. I've gotten great results too. Check out my before and after photo if you feel comfortable doing that. Or you can share a picture of, someone on our team and share their transformation photo. I'll be running a private accountability group in a couple weeks, and I just wanted to see if you'd be interested in learning more about it. If so, I can send you more information and we can see if it's a good fit for you. Let me know. So I did a bunch of those today. I was going through people that liked my photo from last night. I feel like that's the perfect opportunity to say, hey, thanks for liking my post last night on my transformation. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you'd ever like info on my current groups and the programs that I do. I'd love to share more about it with you. I don't make it too long and long-winded. I feel like I'm going to do what I would like to see, and I want to cut to the chase, but I also want to let them know, like, thank you. I appreciate the love and support you have on my post and in my journey. Okay, training and resources. So as a reminder, you guys, you are the CEO. We have the tools to help you get started, but it is going to be your responsibility to treat this like a business. This was a little bit different for me because I've always had been in corporate America where I was told exactly what I had to do. And it was like, all right, this is what you have to do and check the boxes. And, and I knew that's what I did every single day. Well, this is kind of up to you. It's up to you if you're going to wake up and do your workout at some point. It's up to you if you're going to do those invites. It's up to you if you feel stumped on what emerald or diamond means. It's up to you to, figure that out and to, find those resources out there for you. Start sloppy, fail forward, trial and error. Maybe you put a post out there and you felt like it flopped. Don't worry about it. I used to get so nervous, like, oh, no one's liking my post anymore, because as soon as they start seeing that you're posting a lot, not everyone's going to always like your post. So in the beginning, you might get a lot of love and a lot of like, yeah, way to go, you look amazing. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, it's you again showing up. Well, guess what? People are still watching you, and there are a lot of silent observers, even if you're not getting those likes and those love. Because I can tell you right now, from doing this for 4.5 years, I am shocked at the people that come around where I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea you were watching me. They weren't liking my stuff. They weren't having interaction with me. But guess what I did? I stayed focused and I showed up and I stayed consistent. So again, evaluate with your PS coach frequently in the beginning to make tweaks, and then be open-minded to feedback. I always say, if you don't mind, I will give you constructive criticism, if you don't mind me doing that. And sometimes if I do catch a post, I'm just going to give that to that person right then and there and say, hey, it was a really good post, but instead of doing a quote or no image at all, make sure that you add an image of yourself. Okay. And then as a reminder, you guys, hopefully you're in our Help One training group, because that is this week. But then again, we always have weekly team calls. So we have team calls every single Tuesday night, but it's going to also be alternating with our power hour. So we have all that information on our calendar and our team page. So you can actually look at that at the beginning of the month, look at it, write everything down so you're not missing it throughout the month. And then again, I know we already talked about our Google Drive, but we have guides, we have example posts, we have lingo, tools to help you start. And there's even, like Nicole said earlier, a folder that's called Start Here. So you just have to play around with it, and then you will know where to go when you feel like, oh my gosh, what do I do? It's all there for you.
All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about your why and your vision, because these are things that are going to come up as you continue going. And this is kind of the core of why you started coaching, what you imagine for your life. It can get deep, like the sense of why does being healthy, like why is being healthy important to you? Why is it important that other people in your life are healthy? What does coaching, what does that fill for you? So like for me, I mean, I'm able to be home with my kids now. My why that I'm currently working on is getting more childcare because I have 3 kids, 4 and under now. And for me, a big why is that I can have, honestly, more help around the house, more ability to be able to spend the focus time with my kids, so that I'm not doing as much cleaning and meal preparing and childcare like activities. I'm able to do more quality time. So that's a why that I'm working on, and our vision I'm working on right now. But I have a longer term vision. This is going to be things like, what's your life? What do you want your life to be like in 10 years? What do you imagine for your family? What opportunities do you want for your children or for yourself? Do you want to wake up and go to your full-time job every day that you have now or not? It's totally fine if you don't want to quit your job. And that's where everyone who joins our team, I'm just going to go back to this because I want to make it clear that we don't expect you to want to quit your job or to leave your job. A lot of people join because they genuinely love our community. They love the programs and the products, and they just want to earn a little bit extra money. And if that is you, you are more than welcome and more than accepted here. And not a ton of us are the business builder that you learned about probably in your coach info session, or that you heard about before this. But no matter what, it's important to remember why you're coaching. And it's especially important in those hard moments and the times when you don't want to send those invites and you don't want to, maybe you're having a not as great of month, and maybe you're not hitting your goals, to remember why you're doing this. Why did you originally join? What is life like that's different? And then those short-term goals too. It's like, what would that extra income of $100, $200, $500, or $1,000 a week, what could that do for you? And make those short-term goals and make the big, scary, crazy goals too. But I really want you to make sure that you're doing a short-term goal to share with your coach. Do you want to earn $100 to cover your shakes in your first month? Do you want to make $500 in your first month? Because your coach is going to be able to tell you if what you're doing is on track to get to that goal. Because you can earn $500 in your first month. It's going to be harder than earning $100, but it is possible. And we can tell you if the action that you're putting in is going to get you there. But if you're not willing to share or set and share a goal, then it's going to be harder for us to help you get there. So to go back to the monthly team learning calls and power hours, I just want to first say that we have our team all over the US, and we try our best to have calls at different times so that people can be accommodated. We understand some people work full time, some people with kids, we have to go around nap schedules. So if you can't attend a call, it's totally fine. Don't feel like you're outcast from the group or something because you can't make these times. But so we have 2 team calls, which will be like learning calls. And those are the second Tuesday, so we have one tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific. And then we have one on the 4th Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific, or no, we move these, this is now noon Pacific on Thursdays. We need to update this. And you'll see an invite in our team page for those as an event. The link is the same as this link. And then also every other Tuesday that we don't have a team call, we have a live working session called a power hour, where we go over the business activity tracker and we literally work together. So if you join a few minutes late, you might just join in and see us on this call with our heads down and looking at our phones, because we are working. So we'll prompt you through the different activities. Like we'll have a section of time to grow our following, or to do invites, or to maybe just like and comment on some people who commented or liked our posts. But it's a great way to learn as you go. And don't be intimidated or afraid to show up to any of these calls. Everyone is welcome. And like I said, they're not required. They're suggestive but not required. You can always catch the replay of any of the actual learning calls. The power hours aren't recorded. But, and also another thing to keep in mind is, I think it's, if you have an iPhone and you have the podcast app, you can subscribe to the Team Beachbody Coach podcast. And every Monday there is a new call by a top coach in the network, or sometimes they interview newer coaches too. And there's always such great information in these posts or these calls. I just make sure that I'm listening to each one each week. And I usually do it when I'm driving, or when I'm putting on makeup, or when I'm cleaning, or honestly just multitasking. And so I just make sure that I'm constantly having that in my mind, because one of the really cool things about the National Wake Up Call is you're going to hear stories from all these top coaches that started just like you, and that come from all different walks of life, and who have dramatically changed their life because of Beachbody, and they're sharing their top tips with you. So it's just a great way to get inspired and also to learn. And they're pretty short. You can fast forward through the announcements, because the announcements are like recognition and whatnot. So the bulk of the podcast is pretty short. All right, the last thing. I know we're giving you a lot of information right now, so I want to go back to emphasizing that we're going to talk about it on the next slide about the two things you need to get done first. But this business activity tracker, which Kelly posted in the Help One today, it tells you exactly what you need to do every day. And I created a video, which I actually need to re-record it, because things have changed since I recorded it. But I created a video that's in the Google Drive that explains what I would do for each of these things. But don't be intimidated when you look at it and it says, like you can see on here, initiate connections and add followers for 20 minutes a day. You might not have 20 minutes every single day to do these activities, but the point of the tracker, or to do that one activity, and then, the point of the tracker is to show you what kind of activities you should be consistently doing throughout the week. It doesn't mean that you're going to be able to check off every list every single day. And I honestly don't even want you guys to start the business activity tracker right now until you have done the first two things that we're going to talk about on, I think, the next slide. So yeah, the next thing, basically how you start is you make that list of 20 people and you're going to invite them to the challenge group. And most of us have a challenge group starting on October 21st. So this is the week that you're going to want to be doing this. And the second thing is to do your coming out post on social media and start just generally sharing yourself and your journey, as Kelly gave those great tips on social media. But we have example posts in the Google Drive. I also have a document in the Google Drive called New Coach Tips for Getting Started that I send all my personally sponsored coaches. And it has a lot of what we talked about on here summarized with links. If you want to go find that, I can actually post it in the Help One as well. But basically your first two things is to do a social media post that says, you're going to want to make it can be a before and after, or it can just be a picture of you. But you want to tell where you were before Beachbody and where you are now, without actually saying Beachbody, because we don't want to, not like we're embarrassed to say Beachbody. It's that we don't want people just Googling 21 Day Fix and then buying it on Amazon, which just happened to me, because you want people to be like, what is she doing exactly? I want to join her. So your coming out post, there's examples in the Google Drive, and you can share that with your personally sponsored coach to have them look it over, and then let them know after you post it so they can give you some support. And if you can't think of your 20 people, which I think we can all think of 20 people to invite, that these are the 20 people that you have a connection with already. It's not going to be weird if you send them an invite without having small talk before, because they know you well enough. it's going to be 20 people that you know and trust, that it's not, like Kelly said, you're not sending a random message to someone you never talk to anymore. But if you can't find inspiration for those 20 people, the people who support that coming out post, like it, comment it, those are great people to invite. And I challenge you, even if you've already invited your 20 people and more people like and comment your coming out post, those are the people to send them the message. Thank you so much for supporting me. That meant so much to me. I'd love to invite you to our October 21st accountability group. Would you want more information? If not, no worries. Thank you so much again for the support. That's something I would say, exactly what I would say. So once you've done those two things, let your coach know and they'll tell you the next steps. But like I said, a bonus would be to download the business activity tracker and start working through it. And I actually don't think it's a bonus to schedule your business hours, because I think it's super important that you're not going to just magically find time to work this business. You have a busy life. None of us don't have busy lives. I have 3 young kids. I mean, I've gone through this business while I'm pregnant with twins, having newborn twins. While I've worked full time. Kelly has worked while this with kids and pregnant. Like, we all have a lot of stuff going on, and you don't just magically find extra time in your schedule. Like, none of us are like, oh, I wonder, like, I'm just sitting around reading books, or I don't know what you're doing. You need to make time for this business. So you need to look at your calendar and say, where am I going to be able to work my business each day? And you get out your tracker during that hour, or maybe you can't find an hour. Maybe it's 3 20-minute pockets, but schedule them on your calendar so that you know that you are moving your business forward. And in these early days, it's going to be about you taking action. You're not going to have people just pouring into you, back at you and saying, I want to join, I want to join. It's not the way it works, unfortunately. I wish it did. But you just have to be consistent and knowing that you're taking those steps and that people are going to come around. They're going to want to join you with time. But it's important to have that mindset that what you're doing now will pay off in the future. It's not going to pay off today. It's going to pay off in the future. And that's why it's important to go back to that why, and that, like, why are you doing this? What do you want to get out of it? Because there's going to be setbacks. There's going to be the person who, going back to the inviting, I just want to mention that when you do invite those 20 people, some people aren't going to respond at all. Some people are going to say, no, thanks. Some people are going to give you an emoji. Some people are going to say, yes, I want information. And then you're going to send it to them and they're never going to respond. And then some people are going to say, I want information. And then they sign up and it's amazing. But all those people that you invited today, I guarantee a large portion of them are going to come back to you next month, 3 months, in the new year, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. Like, it is crazy how people come around. And it doesn't mean that if they say no, that it's no forever. It's just no for now. And just also remember that people are busy, and when they see your message, they're not gonna be immediately like, yes, I want more information this very moment, even though my dog's like attacking me and my child's screaming and I just happened to look at Facebook because I was out of, and I saw your message. Like, people are busy lives, so you can't take it super personally when they don't respond or they give you the heart or whatever it is. Just know that that's part of the process, and you just keep going.
So I saw that Rachel had a couple questions. So since a lot of you guys are in the start of your program, so for example, if you haven't gone through a whole program yet and you don't really have a before and after yet, that's totally fine. What we do recommend doing, though, is still sharing your journey. So kind of letting people know, and yeah, it does take some vulnerability, but being like, okay, day 1 photos have been taken. You don't need to necessarily show yourself. Like, can you even like put something around you, like an image of, like, I don't know, on Word Swag, or, say progress in the making or something. I've seen, some coaches do that. And then when you're done with that program is when you're going to reveal your before and your after. So this will actually, even, at least in my opinion, like, put a fire underneath you. Like, anytime that I start a new program, I'm like, all right, taking my before photos, and I'm determined to show up every day because I know I'm gonna be showing my after photos. And I always say it's not necessarily your before and after, because this is a lifelong journey, you guys. So you might be doing the 21-day fix right now, or maybe you're in the midst of doing morning meltdown. Whatever it is that you're doing, you're still going to continue to show like a progress photo. So, maybe in the beginning, you're not really seeing change. And that's when you're going to talk about all the changes that you're having. Maybe it's non-scale victories. Maybe it's just, you're finally making healthier decisions, or you've given up Diet Coke or soda, or, think of all the things that you can share that has helped you and changed your habits. Those are the kind of things that you got to be thinking about that you can share. And so hopefully you've taken your day zero photo, no matter what program you start to do. Always take those day zero photos and continue to sprinkle, where you are now, how you're feeling. And then yes, when you're done with that program, or even if you feel like your progress photos are starting to show and you're like, oh, I'm excited. Like, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm excited. You can even post that, within your journey. It's all about, you guys, like letting people into the journey that you're on. So if all of a sudden, like, I have a lot of coaches that are always scared to do their before and after, because they're like, well, I don't love where I'm at right now, and I don't really want to start coaching until I have better results. And I always feel like they're just putting their foot in their mouth, because you could be helping so many people along the way that can relate to you, because it's not just like, oh, I'm doing so great, I'm eating so well and perfect, and I'm just going to keep going that way. No, this journey has a lot of ups and downs, and you're going to be like, I caved to pizza, I wasn't the best over the weekend, but I'm ready to get back on track on Monday. This is what I'm going to do about it. And then you start, sharing that, and people are like, oh my God, I can totally relate. I feel that way too this Monday after the holiday weekend, or I need to get back on track, or I need to start making healthier choices. That's when people can feel like, okay, you're not some crazy coach that doesn't cheat or doesn't like have their, downs, because we're not meant, like Nicole said in the very beginning, you guys, we're not professional nutritionists. We're not fitness experts. We're just normal people. And we're just sharing our journey, and we're trying to share what has worked for us. So, you know what? Like, some of us are 4 years into our journey and gone through pregnancies, gone through just a ton of stuff, right? Some of you guys might just be finishing one program and you're just at the front, like the beginning of it. Either way, you still want to share your journey. You still need to let people in on it. I kind of look at it like, let people in like your journal, like share a little bit about what is going on right this minute. And because there's going to be people out there that are going to relate to you and your story, and not to the person over here. So I get it all the time. People are like, oh, I've been following you for a while, and I can just relate to you so much because I have 2 boys or 3 boys. And it's funny how I do attract people that are boy moms. Not saying I wouldn't attract girl moms, but it's like, I'm sharing that that's what I am. And I'm also sharing how I love pizza and wine. And a lot of people are like, oh, it makes me feel so much better that you are human and that you're doing that too. So I'm not trying to like hide who I am to try to be perfect with my nutrition and my fitness, because I don't think that's relatable. So if
I want to address the before and after photos, we have some on our team page that Kelly recently did a thread. So you should be able to go into the Fit and Balance tribe and find them. But I would not recommend posting anyone else's before and after as your main photo on Instagram, or I don't know about Facebook, but yeah, either way. Even if you did a picture of you and then you did some of our team ones as like the second, third, and fourth, that would be okay. But I would never do someone else's on your main one, because it's weird. They want to see you. They want to see your face. You can do like some other people's in your stories. I would do that. But first you want to talk about what it's done for you before you say, look at all these other people. It's always about you first.
Yeah. And then I'm going to make that, I did do a post on our team page, and I'm going to make it under announcements so we can find it. Marcus announcement. Okay.
And then the team calls have similar content. No. So each team call that we do that has like it's all different. So sometimes we'll have guest speakers, and then sometimes like Kelly's tonight talking about doing a coach info session on your Instagram. We'll sometimes talk about social media. We'll tell you in advance what we're going to talk about. Yeah. And you can go look at all our old team calls and
so I love going back to our like files. If you're like, oh, but I just joined the team not too long ago, you can go to our files and go to team calls. And Nicole and I have done some on inviting. We did a good one on social media, just kind of showing how you can brighten up your photos, because that kind of stuff is not something that we're going to go over on a coach call like this, because it's just, there's so much stuff that goes to it. So we share the apps that we use, we share the filters, we share just why it's important to make your photos pop, and also how to stand and like the tools that we use, meaning tripods, or, you know, ones that are affordable on Amazon. So that's all stuff though, you guys, that you could look at on our team page, and go over some of the team calls as well.
And also you're just going to learn as you go. Like, just be like, look at the photo that after you take it and say, does this look like a attractive photo that someone would want to see on their main feed? If it's blurry or grainy, or find a different spot in your house. Like, I have a window right in front of me. I purposely have my desk like this so that it's good lighting for my videos and whatnot. Just have to start thinking about those kind of things. And it all comes with time. You'll go through days and you'll be like, oh no, I didn't even think to take a picture of my entire day. And that, like, in the early days, that's what happens. Sometimes when I do that, I'll just see like a cute something that someone else posted on that made me laugh, and I'll just share it to my stories because I'm like, oh, I forgot to do anything. So at least I did something.
Yeah. And just going back really quick, you guys, just try to keep tunnel vision and blinders on. So just try to focus on 3 to 4 main posts a week. You don't want to do a post and then don't show up for another week, because that is what I see a lot of coaches do. They're like, I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I just, I don't feel the love, or feel insecure, whatever it might be. But you got to keep that momentum going, and it gets more comfortable, promise. You'll get more in the habit of it. And with that being said, if no one else has any questions, I'm going to go ahead and end it. Thanks for being on.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.